When you think of grabbing a quick fish sandwich, you might picture something light, crispy, and maybe even healthy. After all, it's fish, right? But here's the shocking truth. Most fast food fish sandwiches are anything but healthy. Hidden behind that golden fried coating are ingredients loaded with sodium, preservatives, and mystery oils that can seriously harm your heart and overall health. From soggy buns dripping with grease to fish patties that have barely seen real ocean life, these sandwiches are more processed than you'd ever imagine. What's worse, many restaurants market them as a better or lighter option compared to burgers, when in reality, some contain more calories and fat than a Big Mac. So before you order your next fish sandwich, let's uncover the truth about which ones you should absolutely avoid, and which few are actually worth your money and your health. 1. McDonald's Filet-O-Fish. At first glance, the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish might seem like a lighter, even healthier choice compared to a greasy burger, but that's exactly what makes it so deceiving. What started as a marketing move in the 1960s to attract customers avoiding meat on Fridays has now turned into one of the most misleading fast food items on the planet. The Filet-O-Fish isn't a fresh piece of fish. It's made from Alaskan pollock, a cheaper, mass-produced white fish that's been heavily processed, ground into paste, and reshaped into that neat little square. To make it last longer and taste fresh, it's treated with preservatives like sodium tripolyphosphate, which helps retain moisture but can be harsh on your kidneys if eaten often. Add in the breading that's fried in vegetable oils loaded with trans fats, and you've got a crispy-looking but nutritionally disastrous meal. A single Filet-O-Fish contains about 400 calories, 19 grams of fat, and 560 milligrams of sodium. And that's without fries or soda. The tartar sauce, while creamy and flavorful, adds even more hidden fat and sugar. What's worse, the bun is made from refined white flour with added sugar and preservatives, giving you little to no fiber. And let's not forget the environmental angle. Alaskan pollock might sound ocean-friendly, but it's one of the most overfished species globally. So not only are you consuming a processed product, but you're also supporting a supply chain that's not exactly great for marine ecosystems. Consumers have also complained about inconsistency. Some sandwiches are overly greasy, others cold in the center, and often the fish patty ends up swimming in tartar sauce. Hardly the premium meal McDonald's wants you to believe it is. Bottom line, the Filet-O-Fish might hold a soft spot in your memory, but nutritionally, it's no better than a deep-fried mystery patty. You're getting processed fish, empty carbs, and unnecessary sodium, all dressed up as a lighter option. If you're craving seafood, you're far better off grabbing a grilled fish sandwich elsewhere or making one at home with real ingredients. 2. Burger King Big Fish Sandwich. When you hear Big Fish, you might imagine a hearty, satisfying sandwich packed with wholesome seafood goodness. But don't let the name fool you. Burger King's Big Fish Sandwich is one of those fast food items that sounds premium, but delivers pure disappointment when it comes to both nutrition and quality. First off, let's talk about the fish. Burger King uses white Alaskan pollock, just like McDonald's Filet-O-Fish, meaning it's not a fresh filet, but a heavily processed, ground-up fish paste that's molded into a uniform patty. It's coated in a thick, oily breading and deep-fried until golden brown, but that golden crunch comes with a heavy cost. The sandwich packs around 510 calories, 28 grams of fat, and 1,000 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you even add fries or a drink. Then comes the so-called Deluxe toppings. You get a basic white bun, a slice of American cheese, which is basically processed oil and milk solids, iceberg lettuce, and a drizzle of tartar sauce. The sauce, of course, is loaded with added sugars, soybean oil, and preservatives, turning a potentially light meal into a greasy sodium bomb. From a nutritional perspective, this sandwich checks all the wrong boxes. High in unhealthy fats from fried oil and processed cheese. Sky-high sodium that can spike your blood pressure. Almost no fiber or micronutrients, leaving you hungry an hour later. But beyond health, the taste and texture are major complaints. Many customers describe it as overly soggy, with a fishy smell that's hard to ignore. The bun often gets soaked with oil, and the patty lacks any real flakiness. Because, well, it's not a real fillet. It's more of a fish nugget in disguise. Environmental advocates have also raised eyebrows about Burger King's fish sourcing. While they claim to use sustainably caught pollock, the massive demand for fast food seafood often leads to overfishing and questionable supply chain practices. Simply put, Burger King's Big Fish Sandwich is a deep-fried illusion of health, loaded with calories, sodium, and cheap ingredients that do nothing good for your body. If you're trying to eat cleaner, or just enjoy seafood the right way, this sandwich is one you'll want to swim far, far away from. 3. Arby's Crispy Fish Sandwich. Arby's is known for its slogan, "We have the meats." But when it comes to seafood, it seems like they should have stuck to roast beef. The Arby's Crispy Fish Sandwich is marketed as a flaky, golden-fried fish fillet with tartar sauce and lettuce on a sesame seed bun. Sounds harmless, right? Well, beneath that crunchy coating lies one of the worst fast food fish offenders out there. Let's start with the numbers. This sandwich contains 570 calories, 25 grams of fat, and a whopping 990 milligrams of sodium. But it's not just the calorie count that's concerning. It's where those calories come from. The fish patty itself is heavily processed Alaskan pollock, mixed with fillers and stabilizers to keep costs low and shelf life long. It's then deep fried in industrial oil, often reused multiple times a day in restaurant fryers, which can lead to the buildup of harmful trans fats and oxidized compounds that damage your heart and cells. And the crispy promise? It's hit or miss. Customers often report a greasy, soggy texture, especially if the sandwich has been sitting under a heat lamp. The so-called tartar sauce adds insult to injury. It's a blend of soybean oil, sugar, and preservatives that makes this sandwich even heavier on unhealthy fats. Combine that with white bread and shredded iceberg lettuce, which adds little to no nutritional value, and you've got a meal that's more artery clogging than satisfying. From a health standpoint, this sandwich is a triple threat. High sodium can contribute to hypertension and water retention. Excess trans fats can raise LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower HDL, good cholesterol. Low-quality protein from processed fish means you're not getting the nutrients you'd find in real, fresh seafood. Taste-wise, it doesn't fare much better. Many people describe it as overly salty, bland, and artificial, more like fried bread than fish. And the worst part? There's little transparency about where the fish actually comes from. Wild-caught may sound reassuring, but with fast food, that often means bulk-sourced from fisheries with questionable sustainability practices. Bottom line, Arby's might be great for a roast beef sandwich once in a while, but their crispy fish sandwich is a nutritional shipwreck. Between the oily coating, processed filet, and sky-high sodium, this is one menu item that deserves to sink to the bottom of the sea. 4. Wendy's Crispy Panko Fish Sandwich. When Wendy's launched its Crispy Panko Fish Sandwich, it promised something that sounded almost gourmet. Wild-caught Alaskan pollock, crispy panko breading, lettuce, pickles, American cheese, and a creamy dill tartar sauce. On the surface, it looks like Wendy's took a premium approach to fast food fish. But the reality? It's just another deep-fried disappointment hiding behind fancy marketing. Let's peel back the layers. This sandwich clocks in at 520 calories, 26 grams of fat, and 1,180 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half your recommended sodium intake for an entire day from just one sandwich. And while panko breading sounds lighter or crunchier, it's still fried in highly refined vegetable oils, which lose their quality and nutritional value after being reused repeatedly in restaurant fryers. The fish itself? Like many others on the list, it's processed Alaskan pollock, formed into fillets that are flash frozen and shipped in bulk. During this process, much of the fish's natural omega-3 oils and nutrients are stripped away. What's left is a mild-tasting, low-quality fillet that's then drowned in oil and salt to make it palatable. Now, about that tartar sauce, it may be creamy, but it's also loaded with mayo-based fats, added sugars, and preservatives. Combined with the processed cheese and soft white bun, it turns into a sodium and fat overload that can leave you feeling sluggish instead of satisfied. Even the lettuce and pickles, which are supposed to add freshness, barely make a difference. And let's not ignore the false sense of healthiness that Wendy's marketing creates. Wild-caught and panko may sound premium, but nutritionally, this sandwich is not much better than its cheaper fast food rivals. According to consumer reviews, the fish often tastes dry or rubbery, especially when not cooked fresh. Others have complained about the tartar sauce overpowering the flavor entirely, masking what little fish taste there actually is. From a health standpoint, this sandwich contributes too much sodium, refined carbs, and unhealthy fats without offering meaningful protein or nutrients. Eating it occasionally won't ruin your diet, but if you're trying to make smarter choices, there are far better ways to enjoy fish without drenching it in oil and preservatives. So while Wendy's might be a winner when it comes to its spicy nuggets or baked potatoes, its crispy panko fish sandwich is a classic case of looks good, tastes okay, but does your health no favors? It's one to skip if you want your heart and your arteries to thank you later. 5. Dairy Queen Alaskan Pacific Cod Sandwich. When you think of Dairy Queen, your mind probably jumps straight to blizzards, cones, and soft-serve sundaes. not fish sandwiches, and maybe that's how it should stay. Because Dairy Queen's Alaskan Pacific Cod sandwich is one you'll definitely want to avoid at all costs. On the surface, it looks harmless. A golden, crispy fish fillet topped with tartar sauce and lettuce, all tucked inside a warm, toasted bun. But don't let that picture-perfect look fool you. This sandwich is far from ocean fresh and much closer to being a processed, deep-fried trap. The first red flag is the fish itself. While Alaskan Pacific Cod sounds premium, the fillet is heavily processed, frozen, and breaded long before it ever reaches your local Dairy Queen. Once you factor in that it's deep-fried in industrial oil, you're looking at roughly 530 calories, 26 grams of fat, and 1,180 milligrams of sodium. And that's just for one sandwich. That amount of sodium is nearly half your recommended daily limit, which means eating one of these puts your blood pressure and heart health on the line instantly. The breading absorbs the fryer oil, transforming what could have been a lean, mild fish into a greasy, sodium-dense calorie bomb. And then comes the tartar sauce, another hidden culprit. It's not homemade or fresh. It's a mass-produced mix of mayo, preservatives, and high-fructose sweeteners that drown out any natural fish flavor. Combine that with limp lettuce and a plain bun made with refined white flour, and you're left with a meal that's heavy on grease but light on real nutrition. But it's not just about numbers, it's about quality. Customers often complain that the sandwich tastes bland, overly oily, or rubbery, depending on how long it's been sitting under the heat lamps. For a brand that prides itself on treating you right, this one definitely misses the mark. The biggest issue? There's nothing fresh about it. From the frozen fish to the generic toppings, every element feels like a rushed afterthought. And when you realize that Dairy Queen isn't exactly a seafood destination, it makes sense. They're clearly out of their depth here. So while the Alaskan Pacific Cod sandwich might sound like a break from burgers or ice cream, it's actually a heartburn-inducing detour you'll regret later. Between the processed fish, the high sodium, and the questionable oils, this sandwich proves that not every catch of the day is worth biting into. 6. Carl's Jr. Beer-battered fish sandwich. Carl's Jr. is known for their over-the-top burgers and bold ads. But when it comes to their beer-battered fish sandwich, it's more of a flop than a feature. On paper, it sounds appealing. Crispy, beer-battered fish, lettuce, and tartar sauce on a bun. But once you take a closer look, this sandwich is a deep-fried disaster disguised as a seafood option. Let's start with the name. Beer-battered might make it sound gourmet, but the truth is, the batter is just a thick, greasy coating that soaks up oil like a sponge. When fried, it turns into a sodium and fat bomb that completely drowns out the mild flavor of the fish. You're not tasting the sea, you're tasting fryer oil and salt. Nutrition-wise, it's shocking. One sandwich packs about 600 calories, 33 grams of fat, and over 1,200 milligrams of sodium. That's half your daily salt intake before you even touch the fries or drink. For something that's marketed as light, or a change from beef, it's anything but healthy. But here's where it gets worse. The fish itself isn't fresh. It's a frozen, processed white fish blend that's been shipped, thawed, and dunked in batter. Many customers have complained that the fillet inside is thin, soggy, or rubbery. And the taste? Often described as fishy in all the wrong ways. In fact, in 2022, several online reviews called it one of the worst fast food fish sandwiches in America, with reports of inconsistent cooking and oil that tastes like it hasn't been changed in days. Some customers even posted photos of undercooked fillets and oil-soaked buns, making it clear that this is not a meal you want to risk. And let's talk ingredients. The tartar sauce used here is loaded with preservatives, added sugars, and seed oils, while the bun is your standard refined white bread, enriched with additives for texture and shelf life. So not only are you eating something unhealthy, but you're also consuming a mix of chemicals your body doesn't need. At the end of the day, Carl's Jr. tried to jump into the fish sandwich market but missed the mark entirely. Instead of offering a fresh, flavorful option, they gave us something that's greasy, salty, and shockingly low in actual fish content. If you're craving seafood, this is one catch you'll definitely want to throw back. Because when a beer-battered sandwich leaves you feeling bloated, greasy, and still hungry, it's not a meal, it's a mistake. 7. Sonic Drive-In Fish Sandwich. Now, Sonic Drive-In might be your go-to spot for milkshakes and tater tots, but when it comes to their fish sandwich, this one's better left off your order. It's one of those menu items that sounds simple enough, a crispy fish fillet, lettuce, and tartar sauce on a warm bun, but the reality is far less appetizing. Let's start with what people have actually reported. In recent years, multiple customers have described Sonic's fish sandwich as mushy, soggy, and fishy in the worst way possible. That's not exactly the glowing seafood experience the commercials promise. In fact, in 2021, a few Sonic locations even went viral on social media for serving grayish-colored fish patties that looked like they'd been sitting under a heat lamp for way too long. The problem lies in how Sonic stores and prepares its fish. It's a frozen Alaskan pollock patty, pre-breaded and reheated in the same oil used for fries, onion rings, and sometimes even chicken. That cross-contamination not only messes with the flavor but can also pose allergy risks. The result? A fillet that's often greasy on the outside and rubbery on the inside, tasting more like old fryer oil than actual fish. Nutrition-wise, this sandwich is another quiet culprit. A single serving packs 590 calories, 32 grams of fat, and nearly 1,300 milligrams of sodium. That's alarming for something you might think is a lighter option than a burger. Even worse, the tartar sauce adds a sneaky 6 grams of sugar, yes, sugar, in a fish sandwich. And if that wasn't enough, the bun and sauce are made with high fructose corn syrup and artificial flavor enhancers, while the breading contains preservatives and MSG derivatives to maintain texture. Basically, you're eating a chemistry experiment disguised as comfort food. Sonic's image as a nostalgic drive-in doesn't help either. While the retro vibe is fun, the fish sandwich feels like something that's been stuck in the past, a recipe that hasn't been updated or improved in years. In blind taste tests, many consumers ranked it among the bottom 3 fast food fish sandwiches for both taste and quality. To make things worse, it's rarely consistent. Depending on which Sonic you visit, you could get a sandwich that's crunchy and golden, or one that's limp and dripping oil. It's a gamble most people don't want to take. So while Sonic may be great for a chili cheese dog or a milkshake on a hot day, their fish sandwich? That's one order you'll regret before you even finish unwrapping it. 8. Jack in the Box Fish Sandwich. If there's one fast food chain that's had its fair share of controversies over the years, it's Jack in the Box. And while the brand has worked hard to rebuild its reputation, their fish sandwich is one menu item that just refuses to evolve or improve. It might look golden and crispy on the menu board, but what you're actually getting is often a soggy, processed mess swimming in tartar sauce. Let's talk about what's really inside that fillet. Jack in the Box uses Alaskan pollock, which sounds good on paper, until you realize it's heavily processed, flash frozen, and often reconstituted with additives like sodium tripolyphosphate to hold moisture and texture. The result? A fillet that feels spongy rather than flaky, and tastes more like salty batter than fish. But the real issue is the oil. Reports from multiple franchise locations reveal that the same frying oil is reused across fish, chicken, and even curly fries, sometimes for an entire day. This not only changes the flavor drastically, but also creates a rancid aftertaste that many customers have complained about online. Some diners have even gone as far as saying their sandwich tasted like burnt plastic or had a chemical odor. Nutrition-wise, the numbers are shocking. The Jack in the Box fish sandwich packs about 580 calories, 33 grams of fat, and nearly 1,400 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you even consider the optional cheese slice, which adds more sodium and artificial flavoring. You might think you're choosing a lighter option than a burger, but in reality, you're consuming something that's nutritionally on par with a double cheeseburger, only less satisfying. Then there's the tartar sauce, a mix of soybean oil, sugar, and preservatives. It adds another 9 grams of fat and 80 calories, with zero nutritional benefit. Pair that with a white flour bun that contains high fructose corn syrup and dough conditioners, and you've got a sandwich that's more laboratory creation than meal. To make matters worse, Jack in the Box's fish sandwich has been caught up in inconsistency scandals. Back in 2020, customers on Reddit and Yelp reported sandwiches arriving half frozen, with undercooked centers or over-fried edges. Some even claimed the fillets were gray and slimy under the breading, the result of poor storage practices at individual franchises. While Jack in the Box deserves credit for experimenting with wild menu ideas, from tacos to breakfast croissants, the fish sandwich simply doesn't meet even basic fast food standards. It's a highly processed, sodium-heavy trap that leaves you feeling bloated rather than satisfied. So, if you're at Jack in the Box and craving something from the sea, do yourself a favor, don't take the bait. Let's take a deep breath, because not all fish sandwiches are created equal. There are a few places that actually do it right, using real fish, clean ingredients, and responsible sourcing. These options don't just taste amazing, they also respect your health and the ocean. So, let's flip the script and look at a couple of fish sandwiches that are actually worth your money and your appetite. Healthy alternative. Number 1. Panera Bread's Tuna Salad Sandwich on whole grain bread. If you're craving a fish-based sandwich but don't want to drown in grease and sodium, Panera Bread's tuna salad sandwich is a refreshing alternative. Unlike most fast food versions that rely on deep-fried fillets, Panera keeps it simple, clean, and surprisingly satisfying. The tuna salad is made from wild-caught skipjack tuna, not the heavily processed, farm-raised kind found in many fast food chains. It's mixed with a light touch of mayo and Dijon mustard, not drenched in it, so you actually taste the tuna's natural flavor instead of a wall of oily dressing. Served on whole-grain wheat bread that's packed with fiber and topped with crisp greens, tomatoes, and red onions, this sandwich gives you a solid nutritional balance that most fast food competitors fail to deliver. Here's where it stands out. Panera's sandwich contains only about 480 calories, 8 grams of fiber, and a modest 650 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of what you'd find in a single Filet-O-Fish. And while most fast food sauces are loaded with sugar and preservatives, Panera's spreads and dressings are free from artificial flavors, sweeteners, and trans fats. Another big plus? Transparency. Panera's full ingredient list is available online and in stores, so you know exactly what's in your food. They even make an effort to source sustainably caught tuna that supports ocean-friendly fishing practices. Taste-wise, it's light, fresh, and satisfying, with a bit of crunch from the veggies and a hearty, earthy flavor from the whole grain bread. It's proof that you can enjoy a good fish sandwich without feeling like you've just eaten something from a deep fryer. If you're looking for a guilt-free lunch or dinner that keeps you full without feeling heavy, Panera's tuna salad sandwich should definitely be your go-to choice. It's real food, not fast food disguised as something it's not. Healthy alternative number 2, the Habit Burger Grill's grilled ahi tuna sandwich. If you still want that classic burger feel, but with a seafood twist, the Habit Burger Grill's grilled ahi tuna sandwich is one of the best options out there. It's everything the greasy fish sandwiches aren't. Fresh, flavorful, and made with actual grilled fish, not fried mystery fillets. The star of the show here is the sushi-grade ahi tuna steak, cooked medium and seared perfectly for that tender, melt-in-your-mouth texture. It's topped with freshly sliced tomato, crisp lettuce, caramelized onions, and a light layer of tartar sauce, all tucked inside a toasted whole wheat bun. Every bite delivers that satisfying balance between smoky char and ocean-fresh flavor. Nutritionally, the Habit's ahi tuna sandwich is a huge step up. It comes in at around 490 calories with 36 grams of protein and only 5 grams of sugar. The sodium sits comfortably below 800 milligrams, which is impressive compared to the salt bombs most fast food joints serve. And because the fish is grilled, not fried, you avoid all those oxidized oils and trans fats that make other sandwiches so unhealthy. So there you have it. Not all fish sandwiches are worth your money or your health. While some are loaded with grease and hidden calories, others like Panera's tuna salad sandwich or the Habit's ahi tuna sandwich prove that flavor and freshness can go hand in hand. Make the smarter choice. Next time you're craving seafood, your body will thank you later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more honest food breakdowns and healthier alternatives. Until next time, choose better.